right now on 5 on your side at 10.
A warning for swimmers with their eyes on rough waters.
The river doesn't care if you're a good swimmer. The river will claim lives of anybody.
Why big river visitors are causing a big problem for rescue crews.
Yesterday, hot and muggy, and eventually some torrential downpours at a few spots, but that mugginess has been replaced with drier air, which only gets drier into the overnight hours. How close we are to a record low and how long we can hang on to this non-humid air.
But first, the protest that put a pause on Pride. Good evening, I'm Mark Maxwell. Mike Bush has the night off. Tens of thousands of people showed up to the Pride Fest parade on Market Street downtown today. The Grand Pride Parade stepped off at noon with the theme, Unleash Your Pride. The festival stretching between 15th and Tucker and from Pine to Market. It's one of the biggest annual events of its kind in the Midwest, and LGBTQ plus community members and allies say it's important to celebrate the city's diversity.
St. Louis should honor Pride because Pride is St. Louis. We are a part of St. Louis just like everybody else, and so St. Louis should be proud of it.
It's important that everybody feel equal, no matter who you love, who you're around. As long as you love somebody and you love yourself, that's all that matters.
Pride Fest officially wrapped up around 6 o'clock tonight. Organizers say a record crowd of more than 360,000 people attended the annual parade and festival combined. A handful of activists took pride in disrupting the parade and protest to defense contractor Boeing sponsoring the event. Right now, some of those protesters who were arrested are still working to get out of jail. 5 on your side, Robert Townsend has the latest.
The 44th annual Grand Pride Parade kicked off amid a huge crowd in downtown St. Louis Sunday afternoon. But about 20 minutes into the event, the popular parade suddenly brought to an unexpected halt. Police say nearly 24 pro-Palestine protesters disrupted the parade, repeatedly chanted, and blocked the participants from walking down Market Street.
Protest in Washington and not here.
The protesters denounced genocide, called for an end to the ongoing Israel-Hamas war in Gaza, and blasted Pride St. Louis for, quote, accepting funding from Boeing. Boeing was the title sponsor for the Pride Parade.
We want to parade! We want to parade! It's not our war!
Allison Stewart was just one of many parade goers clearly upset by the protest.
They want the 15 seconds of fame. That's move on. We didn't do anything. We're not involved.
Police asked the protesters to disperse several times.
We gave our dispersal orders, as most of you probably heard and did see, which we did 3 of. They still refused to move on, so we had to move in and make some arrests, and they did not make it easy.
Officers arrested nearly 24 protesters. Some had to be picked up off the ground. No one was hurt. Pride St. Louis says despite the 50-minute delay, the parade went on.
I believe, and St. Louis Pride believes, everyone has a voice, and all voices matter. We are resilient, and today is a wonderful example of how, faced with adversity, we keep moving forward.
Hours later, protesters walked out of jail to cheers, applause, and hugs from fellow protesters. Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
Protesters plan to hold a news conference to continue their message tomorrow outside the St. Louis Justice Center. A man found guilty of killing his ex-girlfriend and trying to kill another person will learn his sentence tomorrow. Robert Tarr shot and killed Leslie Reeves and seriously hurt Christopher Smith just before Thanksgiving in 2021. Then he later tried to hire someone to kill Smith and a deputy investigating that case. Tarr is set to appear in court at 1:30 tomorrow. He could face a minimum of 76 years behind bars. We're getting a cooler start to the week than usual, and we may even hit some record lows overnight. But the big question a lot of people have ahead of this holiday, will July 4th get rained out? Gary Frank is here with a look at our Weather First forecast. Hey, Gary.
Yeah, hey, good evening, Mark. I think overall we're still looking at a rainy 4th of July, at least at times, but let's focus on the start of the week because we're going to enjoy some weather right now. Temperatures already are starting to cool off. I mean, it feels great outside. The wind is blowing from that northerly direction, northeast now. It's down to 73, which is only about 3 degrees from our average low, but our dew point is dropping, and that's a key for us here as we're pretty much clearing out significantly here. As we head into the overnight hours, look at these lows. We're still slated to fall another 15 to 20 degrees, and that's going to be a significant factor here for us as we've got pretty nice conditions here overall. Cooler conditions as that northeast breeze continues at around 10 to 15 miles an hour, ushering in that cool, dry air, and that's what we'll focus on here shortly. But there are a few things that we'll do and that will warm right back up. We'll talk about how close this is to an overnight record and whether or not we'll get that before we warm right back up, and we'll also time it out hour by hour for our 4th of July rain potential.
Tonight, the High Ridge Fire Protection District sending a warning to swimmers. This after their 4th water rescue this year at Rockford Park. Our Justina Cornell met the fire chief in Jefferson County, where an influx of people are swarming the area.
Packed with people. Officials say it's a problem at Rockford Park, as many try to relax on the last day of June near the Big River. Chief John Barton is on edge.
I worry about every weekend.
Barton's dedicated 25 years to the High Ridge Fire Protection District, and every year, Rockford Park brings some troubles.
The river's unpredictable and unforgiving, and it doesn't care if you're a good swimmer, and it doesn't care if you're sober or not.
Since 2014, he says there have been 5 drownings, 2 just last year. He explains the overcrowding increases every year. Now Jefferson County deputies patrol the weekends.
The weekend-specific problem is us having difficulty even getting into the park to render aid.
Despite the warning signs here at Rockford Park, the High Ridge Fire Chief says people continue to go in the water here. They said so far this year, they've already had their 4th water rescue, and the latest was Saturday night.
We had a 12-year-old girl and then another older adult in her 20s were swimming over in the river by the bluff area and got caught in the current. So 2 bystanders jumped in the water, took an inflatable raft over, and they were able to get them to the opposite side of the river, but they couldn't get back to this side. They were all too tired from swimming in the current.
The rescues are a reminder of the risk.
We've already had 1 victim that was pulled unconscious from the water and transported in critical condition. The advice is don't get in the water to swim because it's unpredictable.
As we enter the hottest month of the year, Barton urges parkgoers to think twice before testing Mother Nature.
It's up for people to see those signs and heed the warnings, and unfortunately they decide to just take their chances.
Justina Cornell, 5 on your side.
And that same park shut down back-to-back weekends last summer after 2 drownings. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Department said numerous fights, assaults, thefts, and underage drinking led to its decision.
A roadway rescue underway downtown. MoDOT's 1,500 reasons to fix up Route 100. They'll be booming in the bi-state this week, where you can see fireworks this Independence Day.
We're tracking rain chances that pick back up by the middle of the week, Wednesday into Thursday. Which portions of your holiday will be interrupted by rain, and just how hot we're going to be as we head into the holiday week.
We got word about Team USA's women's gymnastics team. Simone Biles, Suni Lee, Jordan Childs, Jade Carey, and Hesley Rivera are all heading to Paris after today's trials. They wrapped up today as the USA's gymnastics is in the midst of a major overhaul. Lili Liang is marking 5 years as president and CEO of USA Gymnastics, taking over after the Dr. Larry Nassar abuse scandal that scarred athletes, scared sponsors, and sparked bankruptcies. Since her move to the top, Liang replaced about 70% of the staff in a push to change the culture. She says things are better now and athletes are sticking around longer.
We love to see that the athletes are staying longer in the sport than they ever have been. It's a testament to, I think, partially the cultural change in the sport, and that the athletes are feeling not only physically healthier, but both emotionally and mentally healthier to stay in the sport.
U.S. athletes will head to France 1 week before the games to train and adjust to the time zone difference. The women won the Olympic team gold 3 times in 1996, 2012, and 2016. They won silver at the last games. You can catch the Olympic Games right here on 5 on Your Side starting July 26th. For more on who's qualifying and more, just text the word Paris to 314-425-5355. The Summer Olympics in Paris are just weeks away. Some people are hearing some interesting things about the living conditions for the athletes. Ariane Till with our National Verified team looks into a claim about their sleeping arrangements.
The Paris 2024 Olympics are coming, which means athletes will soon be moving into their rooms in the Olympic Village. But viral posts making the rounds on social media claim the beds in the village will be made of cardboard to prevent intimacy among athletes. So let's verify. Are the beds at the Olympic Village made of cardboard? These are our sources. This isn't the first time this claim has been made. During the Summer Games in Tokyo, we verified that the beds were made of cardboard.
Yes, they are literally cardboard.
Irish gymnast Rhys McClenaghan jumped on his bed in Tokyo to demonstrate how sturdy it actually is and called the anti-sex rumor,
"It's fake. Fake news."
The Olympics official account thanked him for debunking the myth. And it's the same story this time around in Paris. Airweave, the Japanese company that provided the cardboard bed frames for the 2020 Tokyo Games, says it's partnering with the Olympics again in 2024. The Paris Organizing Committee of the Olympic and Paralympic Games posted a photo of the cardboard bed frames, and the Associated Press got an early look at the furniture.
Remember those famous Olympic beds, the ones made out of cardboard? Well, they're back.
But these bed frames are made for sustainability purposes, not to limit intimacy among athletes as some people online claimed. Airweave CEO said, "We will produce the cardboard bed frames in France. After the games, recycle them in France." So we can verify, yes, the beds in the Olympic Village are made of cardboard, but not because the organizers want to prevent intimacy among athletes. With your Verify, I'm Ariante Till.
If you have something you want us to verify, just send us an email to verify@ksdk.com. Well, if the weather cooperates, tens of thousands of people in our area will head out to watch fireworks shows this 4th of July. Here's a few of those events happening around town. Here in the city, Celebrate St. Louis is shooting their fireworks off at 9:40. Ferguson is lighting theirs at 9 o'clock. St. Charles Riverfest shooting theirs off at 9:20 on the 4th and the 5th. Extra day there. Over in the Metro East, Granite City's Patriots in the Park will have a fireworks display at 9:15. In Jefferson County's Fairgrounds, 4th of July celebration ignites the skies at dusk. You can find a full list of 4th of July fireworks hotspots on KSDK.com. Text that word fireworks to 314-425-5355 and we'll text you a link. All right, Gary, we were talking earlier about the skies, whether it be overcast or rainy during the fireworks. A lot of people are taking notes. What are they in for?
Yeah, we can live with overcast. We can't deal with rain, right? So that's the big story. So right now we're trending. That's probably the rainiest day of the week, unfortunately. Let's focus on the here and now to short how we're going to get there because, you know, we're at 73. Our normal, we got to 83 today, and so it's going to be below average again tomorrow, but we started off at 70. Our average low is 70. We're already down to 73. Watch this dry air. These dew points in the mid-50s, and that's what, as it settles in and gets maybe even drier, that's really going to allow us to cool off right now. It feels great outside. Now, our record lows for July 1st, which it's hard to believe that we're already there. Mid-50s, 1937, 58, and 19. So there's a lot of days at 58, starting with 1892 and beyond, about 4 or 5 days. So our average is around 70. So that's the main difference there. And I think tonight we'll be pretty close to that. What you'll notice, though, on the Missouri side, probably mid to upper 50s, low 60s. But I'm telling you what, when you check in with Anthony in the morning, there are going to be some spots here in central Illinois, especially away from the city, aren't far from the 40s. It's going to be chilly, which is pretty nice for July 1st, and we'll have to enjoy it. It gives our AC a break and our friends and neighbors that are working pretty hard outdoors. It'll be a little cool tomorrow, so don't be surprised if you actually need a layer for a second, but it kind of goes away. We've got an east breeze at 10 miles an hour throughout the day. We're still in the low 80s. We're still in pretty good shape. Now, as we talk about why things change so quickly, we have this strong high pressure again, and this is not one that's going to sit here for a while, but it's going to kind of work its way in for the rest of Tuesday and Wednesday, and that's where it's going to be on the warmer side. But watch this pattern change as we get close to Wednesday and then Thursday. That's what's headed our way, and as that little dip in the jet stream arrives, that's when we're going to see our next chances for rain. Tuesday stays dry. We're still warm, but as we go into Wednesday, I think we'll start off the morning with a few showers and storms, and then maybe a break, and then more afternoon activity develops in a widely scattered motion. So as we end that, we get another break. We'll start off Thursday. that's where I think we're going to start off with some pretty widespread rain on Thursday. That's the way it looks like to me right now on the 4th of July. And we could deal with that on Thursday if we cleared out the rest of the day. I think we're going to see some breaks at times, but for Tuesday, we don't have any issues. Wednesday, briefly to a couple of hours, and I think Thursday, the weather's going to impact you for a few hours. So in a very early 4th of July forecast, I think we have storms around in the morning, scattered storms by the afternoon, but we're trying to clear by 8 o'clock. And I think that's a positive notion for us here for the next few days. So we go from 83 to 97 pretty quickly, mid-90s. For Thursday, I think rain is definitely in the forecast. We're still trying to iron out how those storm complexes fall apart, re-energize for the afternoon. Otherwise, as we get closer to Friday, things clear out. So if you've taken all 4 days off, 5 days off, whatever it may be, you got a lot of better weather here Saturday and Sunday, and then even into early next week.
Good morning. We're on the move and talking about MoDOT's plans for the Route 100 corridor in the city of St. Louis. That corridor follows Shoto between Interstate 55 and Vandeventer, and also Manchester between Vandeventer and the city limits. The Missouri Department of Transportation held its third public meeting last week to share its plan for the project, which is slated to begin next year. It includes resurfacing the roadway and addressing some major safety concerns in the area. Between 2017 and 2021, there were more than 1,500 crashes along that corridor, which is roughly 5 times the state average for similar roads. MoDOT has $2 million in safety funds to work on things like reducing lanes, creating raised medians, crosswalks, and designated bike lanes. If you weren't able to attend a meeting, MoDOT engineers still want your feedback. You can view the information and provide your input at MoDOT.com until next Tuesday. That's July 9th. Paul Cook, 5 on your side.
The first hurricane of the season is churning over in the Atlantic. The records it's setting as it makes its way to the Caribbean. The first hurricane of the 2024 Atlantic season is now a Category 4 storm, and it's only gaining strength as it barrels towards the Caribbean. Hurricane Beryl now has winds hitting nearly 130 miles an hour. This is the earliest Category 4 storm on record in the Atlantic Ocean, and the only Category 4 recorded in the month of June. The average date to see a storm like this one typically in early to mid-August.
We're expecting a very dangerous, life-threatening storm surge of 5 to 7 feet above normal tide levels, nearer to the right of where the center passes through those islands with large and destructive waves. Also expecting 3 to 6 inches of rainfall. So a very dangerous situation unfolding for places like Barbados, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Grenada.
Grenada's government has already declared a state of emergency tonight, and St. Lucia is in a national shutdown as the public is urged to stay indoors there. The Justice Department has worked out a plea agreement with Boeing over several deadly 737 MAX crashes that killed more than 300 people. The company would plead guilty to criminal charges related to the 2 incidents. Right now, we don't know the specifics of that proposal. Boeing and the Justice Department have declined comment on the deal. The company will have until the end of the week to accept it or go to trial. The deadline for the Justice Department to file criminal charges in that case is July 7. This week, moderate Democrat George Latimer defeated incumbent progressive Congressman Jamal Bowman in New York's 16th congressional district. AIPAC, or the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, spent millions of dollars backing Latimer's bid. They're also spending money supporting Wesley Bell in his bid to unseat Congresswoman Cori Bush here. The Congresswoman now calls out Bell's ties to AIPAC in a new campaign ad. There are some Republican donors giving money to AIPAC. AIPAC and its affiliates are supporting you. Is there some truth to that?
The bottom line is anyone who's supporting me knows what my positions are. And my positions are that I'm a staunch defender of reproductive rights. As a prosecutor, I'm a big supporter of public safety and common sense gun safety laws. I'm a former educator, so education is a big deal to me. Jobs, and those are the things that I stand for, that I've made a record of standing for. And anyone that supports me knows where I stand and what my positions are.
Well, she's portraying you in your image between the picture of Donald Trump and Josh Hawley in the same ad with MAGA on it, and trying to, persuade voters in this district that you're something of a Republican.
It is literally comical. And what I look at is a scandal-plagued Congresswoman who is trying to distort my record to distract from her own issues. And so we're not going to go into the negative stuff and getting personal. Now, your record is fair game. And so we'll talk about her record, but we're going to focus on ours.
We'll have more of that conversation with Wesley Bell and his bid for Congress on the record tonight, right after Sports Plus. It's Arch 630 Day. We'll tell you what exactly that local holiday means in St. Louis and how some people in town celebrated. St. Louis celebrated more than Pride this weekend. It also celebrated its sky-high landmark, 630 feet high to be exact. The Gateway Arch celebrated Arch 630 Day in honor of the landmark's height and width. The unofficial holiday was not just celebrated downtown. Mercy Hospital gave all of today's deliveries a special onesie. According to a post on Mercy's Facebook page, the arch is about 2,172 baby feet tall. That's nearly 3.5 times the arch's regular height. All right, that does it for us. That's all the time we have on 5 on Your Side at 10. Be sure to kick off your morning with Today in St. Louis starting at 4 o'clock. Now here's Frank Cusimano with Sports Plus.